How do U.S. Marines conduct a trench assault? Obviously, we're seeing a lot of videos of trench assaults in action in Ukraine, so I'm going to be comparing this scenario of training to what I experienced in Ukraine. So this video comes from Gung Ho Vids. It's a great channel that shows a lot of training events that the U.S. military does, and I think we'll be able to learn quite a bit. What you don't see in this video is the 20-kilometer movement to this range. So they started at 4 a.m. and they walked for 5 hours until they got to this point, with all the gear that they have on. So they're already exhausted. And that's probably one of the biggest things you're going to see in this video is just how physically fit these Marines are compared to what you can see in Ukraine or other wars. We have a pretty high standard, we're not in an active conflict, and the Ukrainians need to bring up as many people as possible for a fight, so it just makes sense. So this range is broken down to 5 different elements: a mortar team, a machine gun team, and 3 assault platoons. So right off the bat, they give them a casualty from IDF. What you just saw is an arty sim, not very realistic, but it does get the whistling noise, which is a real part of taking indirect fire. So in order to get to the point where they can actually assault this trench and get in there, they have to go through defilade, try and find as much cover as possible, either making a wall of lead as cover, they have machine guns above them, firing right above them actually, into the trench system that they're about to attack. And the assault teams sort of work in a pair. One of them will be a base of fire, covering for the other group that's moving through the defilade into an area where they can assault the objective. And everything's planned out beforehand. The planning phase is something you don't see in this video either. But everybody's on the same page, and the NCO Corps, the non-commissioned officer, and the officer corps, the Marine Corps, is second to none. Everybody knows what job they have. They know that if I go down, this person's going to pick it back up, and you can see how effective that is as this video plays out. Oh yeah, and I gotta mention the guys with orange vests are just there to go and observe. They're there to, for safety, and then also to give some feedback after the range is done to the commanders and let them know what they saw, what they could work on. So before you exploit a trench system, obviously you have some mortar fire that's giving you a little bit of cover as you move into the objective. And then you're going to get some direct fire explosive weapons like a SMA or LAW, AT4, and you're just going to soften up that target for the assault element. And you're about to see the assault element, how that looks, but it's done in pairs. I was actually the assault element for my first time doing range 400, and we ran up there, tossed a frag, and then we went in, cleared the breach, and then they would send in teams of 2, and you're about to see that. As you can see here, the machine guns are working on the target, again, as the assault element is working themselves through. And as the assault element goes through, there's going to be a couple obstacles that they have to go through. So they're walking down this line, and this is to a barbed wire obstacle that was already cleared of mines. So they have a mine detector as they're doing this assault. And Marines are sent one by one down this line that is already cleared until they provide security on the other side and continue their assault towards that position. It's kind of funny, the target that they're shooting at right now is called a Green Ivan, and it's meant to be like a Russian soldier. Oh yeah, and this guy right here, when I was watching this video before I did this recording, he was the platoon sergeant of our weapons platoon. The entire time I was in the Marine Corps, I was with him. He was actually my combat instructor for raids as well when I was in ITB, Infantry Training Battalion. Such a small world that you get in the Marine Corps and in the military in general. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy to see him in a video like this. The entire time that they're moving up, they're going to be taking indirect fire with these arty sims. And, you know, it's the best that we can do in the Marine Corps, it's the best you can do in training, but I really like the realism that they're trying to go for. And as they're moving up here, you can see it's teams of 2.
Alright, so what's your new target? Second squad! Fire on objective 2! One Bravo.
Breaching the assault is going to be shown pretty soon here, but in this segment of the video, they already went in and they're providing some fire support for the other squad that's going to be moving from a different direction. And here you can see there's a casualty, and they're, you know, the instructors are saying what they're hit on, where you need to bring them. You know, there's all these things. Hey, indirect fire in the middle of it. It's some good training, really good training, the best in the world, in my opinion.
Hey, you're gonna have to call it in. I have no cops.
And as they move up, you can hear the commander say, hey, my comms are dead, you gotta go and relay that information. Hey, bring up a star cluster. There's a lot of steps in this assault. And a star cluster is a flare munition for a 203 grenade launcher. And that way people know that the first assault platoon has reached their objective. They are putting fire on the next objective, which is already planned beforehand.
Pop a star cluster, we cleared. Get comms up and pop a star.
Get comms up, pop a star. Pass it down. What is it? Comms up, pop a star.
Comms up, pop a star. What squad are you?
Second squad, Sergeant.
All right,
First
cool.
fire team. We're getting ready to put us on.
Deal. Thank you. Hey, we got a target right. Gonzalez, you got magazine?
The last one.
Now that there's cover on that other objective, here's the second platoon. They're going to be breaching here soon. As soon as the frag goes off, they exploit. They get right in there, exploiting the explosion, exploiting any concussive effects on the enemy. And as soon as they get in there, another team of 2 is sent in, and they're just going to repeat that until the objective has a breachhead and the entire platoon can fill that in and take that trench system. And there's a casualty along the way, of course. You know, again, this is realistic training. This is what's going to happen in reality. Doesn't matter how cool the Marines are. Doesn't matter how well trained. You are going to take casualties. And here they are, taking them off the X, getting them back to a piece of cover so they can get them treated by the medic. Now, I've actually had a scenario when I went down because of a heat casualty. So yeah, it was 120 degrees Fahrenheit. I was a heat casualty, and the medics had to work on me. It's pretty incredible what this training gives us.
Sergeant Carr, no mags, all equipment accounted for, no casualties.
Stand down. What?
No mags, all equipment accounted for, no casualties.
No 2 or 3 rounds, all equipment accounted for.
So yeah, I hope you learned something in this video. I just wanted to go and talk through it, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, I can absolutely do that. They're pretty simple to make. Yeah, obviously Ukraine is a different environment. It's not a desert. There's not going to be hills everywhere, but it stays the same. Having a good base of fire as the assault elements move up, having a good planning phase beforehand, and METTC, all these different things come into play. And if you plan it out well, you can exploit the objective, and you can get in there pretty quickly. You need to have physical fitness. You got to have a lot of ammunition. You got to have a lot of resources on your hands. Mortars, machine guns. We even use javelins, some jets sometimes. A lot of things that need to come into play, but this is how the Marine Corps does it. So thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you learned something, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.